Horticulture and market gardening. So let's start by defining horticulture and market gardening, and it should be noted that horticulture refers to intensive cultivation of vegetables, fruits and flowers for sale and export, while market gardening is an intensive cultivation of vegetables and fruits for sale in the nearest urban center. So in market gardening, production is geared towards meeting the needs of the nearest urban center, while in horticulture it is for a wider market, that is the urban centers and even for sale in the nearby countries or exported to other countries. So we have differences between horticulture and market gardening, which include the following. 1. Horticulture, fruits, flowers and vegetables are grown, while in market gardening it involves growing of fruits and vegetables only. Horticulture is export oriented, while market gardening is local market oriented. Horticulture is less labor intensive or highly mechanized, while market gardening is more labor intensive or less mechanized. Horticulture adheres to high international quality requirements and standards of hygiene, while market gardening lacks standards or quality requirements. Lastly, horticultural farms are highly scientifically managed, while farms engaged in market gardening are less scientifically managed. So those are the differences between horticulture and market gardening. We have features or characteristics of horticulture in Kenya. The first one is it requires a lot of farm input, e.g. fertilizers, pesticides and herbicides, hence need a lot of capital outlay. 2. The farms are smaller in size except for large-scale flower farms in Naivasha. Number 3. Farms are located in areas with good and reliable transport infrastructure, since horticultural products are highly perishable. And lastly, advanced scientific techniques of crop production are applied to ensure high yields in the farms. Factors favoring horticultural farming in Kenya. 1 is hot and wet climate that favors growth of tropical crops, while the cool and wet conditions in the highlands suit temperate crops like plums, pears, apples and grapes. 2 is the fertile volcanic soils that are well drained and rich in nutrients that favor growth of a variety of crops. 3 is high population in the rural areas that provide labor in the farms, and in the urban centers that provide ready market for the products. Number 4 is investment by large companies such as Del Monte, Pan African Foods, or Cerian that provide capital for the horticultural industry. The 5th factor is technical and financial assistance by the German agricultural team who carry out research and train farmers. The 6th factor is establishment of Horticultural Cooperative Union and Horticultural Development Authority to help in farmers export their products. The 7th factor is the government through its export promotion drive is encouraging the diversification of export crops with the aim of broadening the country's export base. This favors horticultural farming in Kenya. Lastly, we have improvement of road network to enhance accessibility to local and overseas markets. So those are the factors that favor horticultural farming in Kenya. So cultivation of horticulture. Should be noted that fruits and vegetables are grown in open fields. Flowers are grown at the shores of Lake Naivasha and in Kibwezi. There is an increased use of greenhouses in the growing of fruits, flowers and vegetables in most parts of the country. So let's briefly look at greenhouses, and the following is the description of greenhouses. First is that they are large in size and resemble warehouses or godowns with a lot of space, as can be seen in the diagram. Their framework is made of wood or metal tubes. They are covered by translucent heavy polythene material to allow small amounts of sunshine or heat. The polythene falls freely and can be raised to desired heights to control humidity. The moisture or water is availed to the plants by sprinkling or irrigation. So that is how a greenhouse looks like. So the following are reasons for increased use of greenhouses in horticultural farming. The first one is it is easier to control moisture that flowers require. Number two, the plants are protected from extreme climatic conditions like excessive rainfall, hailstones, drought, thus ensuring maximum yields are obtained. 3. Spread of pests and diseases is controlled as chemicals are used more effectively and efficiently. Number 4, that is, plants are protected from damaging effects of strong winds and airborne diseases. Number 5 is the semi-artificial climate which is created within the greenhouse enables uniform growth of plants within the greenhouse. The 6th reason is crops are grown all year round since external climatic conditions do not affect their growth, so there is continuous growth of crops. Lastly, it is easier to control weeds through application of herbicides within the greenhouse. So those are the reasons that has enabled or contributed to increased use of greenhouses in horticultural farming. Next is the production of horticulture, and it should be noted that floriculture, which is the practice of growing flowers, is mainly concentrated in central, eastern and parts of Rift Valley, in Murang'a, Nyeri, Kirinyaga, Embu and Kericho counties. The main flowers grown include the roses, the orchids, the carnations, gladioli, solidago, lilies, among others. These flowers are mainly for export to Europe. A large variety of vegetables are grown in Kenya, and this we have the starchy tubers like cassava, yams and potatoes. We have the root crops like carrots and turnips. We have the pulses like the leguminous peas, beans, lentils, soybeans and groundnuts. Green vegetables like cabbage, cauliflower, kales and green grams. Miscellaneous vegetables like onions, tomatoes and chilies. Fruits grown in Kenya mainly for local consumption, and a few are exported. The main fruits grown are the citrus like grapes, oranges, lemons and tangerine. We have the deciduous fruits like apples, pears, peaches and plums. and the tropical fruits, which include bananas, dates, pawpaws, pineapple, and avocados. Next, we have marketing of horticulture, and most of the horticultural products are consumed locally, mainly by the urban population. A small portion of the produce, that is flowers, is exported. The farmers transport their fruits and vegetables to the collecting centers. They are then checked and graded. They are then transported to airports in refrigerated trucks ready for external markets. The major destination for the flowers are Europe and the Middle East. That is how marketing is done. Problems facing horticultural farming in Kenya. One is pests and diseases which lower crop yields. We have pests like aphids, nematodes, birds, worms, rodents, and diseases such as blight, black rot, and bacterial wilt, which greatly affects production. Two is insufficient marketing system that lacks proper organization, leading to rotting of produce. Three is stiff competition on the international market by other horticultural producers like Israel and Netherlands. Next problem is price fluctuations due to overproduction, which results in marginal profits. Next problem is climatic hazards like frost, hailstones, prolonged drought that destroy the produce in the farms. We have high freight charges and production costs that lead to marginal profits. This is due to hiked costs of farm inputs and airfares. Next is seasonal floods that make feeder roads impassable during rainy season, which limits accessibility between the farms and the collecting centers. This normally leads to delay in the delivery of the products. Lastly, we have inadequate refrigeration facilities, which may lead to reduction in the quality of highly perishable produce, and this normally leads to losses to the farmers. So those are problems that face horticultural farming in Kenya. The importance of horticultural farming to Kenya's economy. One, it earns foreign exchange through the exports made to other countries. Horticulture provides employment to many people, the farmers as well as those who are employed in various industries, thereby earning income that they use to improve their livelihood. It leads to improved transport infrastructure in the areas where it is practiced. It has stimulated reclamation of land. Lastly, horticulture has led to emergence of agricultural-based industries, therefore promoting industrialization in the country. We have horticulture in Netherlands. And Netherlands, or what is also known as Holland, is highly specialized in horticulture. The horticultural farming areas in Netherlands include: one, we have the Westland, which includes The Hague, the Hook of Holland, and Rotterdam. This area mainly grows vegetables like carrots, lettuce, cucumbers, spinach, and grapes. The second area is referred to as Leiden-Helm area, and this includes the Aalsmeer near Amsterdam, and it mainly grows flowers. Then you have the Arnhem-Nijmegen area, which includes the Guiderland, Limburg, and Utrecht, and this area also grows mainly fruits. So those are the regions of horticultural farming or growing areas in Netherlands, and the map indicates some of the areas where horticultural farming is done in Netherlands. Factors favoring horticulture farming in Netherlands. One is the coast of Netherlands is washed by the warm Gulf Stream current, making it free from ice or frost, thus favoring growth of fruits throughout the year. Two is fertile soils. The sandy coastal dunes, which are well drained and quickly warmed up in the spring, are ideal for horticulture. Three is advanced technology in Netherlands, e.g. the use of greenhouses with heating systems has led to highly developed horticultural farming. Four is highly developed transport system, e.g. good harbors, canals, navigable rivers, roads, and railway lines that eases and quickens the movement of horticultural crops in and outside the country. 5 is the central location of Netherlands in Europe, which makes it accessible to external or foreign markets. The sixth factor is ready market from the populous urban areas in Europe with high purchasing power. Seventh is highly organized marketing systems due to well-developed cooperatives to market the produce, supply inputs, organize auctions, and advance credit to farmers. The eighth is availability of skilled labor with a long tradition in floriculture has enabled high production and quality packaging. Lastly, we have extensive and successive research in horticulture, which has led to high quality crop varieties and effective pest and disease control in Netherlands. So those are factors that favor horticulture farming in Netherlands. Cultivation of horticulture in Netherlands. The horticultural crops are grown in open fields as well as in greenhouses. The vegetables grown in Netherlands are tomatoes, cucumber, lettuce, cauliflower, melons, spinach, among others. The flowers include turnips, roses, carnations, and lilies. The fruits grown here we have apples, pears, cherries, and red currants. We have marketing of horticulture. The farm produce is transported by road, railway, and air to the nearest market. Some of the produce is sold locally, with the major local markets concentrated in the urban centers within Netherlands. Majority are exported to the major foreign markets like Britain, Germany, Sweden, and France. The produce is normally sold by auction in these markets. Importance of agricultural farming to Netherlands economy. 1. It earns foreign exchange through the exports made to other countries. 2. Horticulture provides employment to many people who are employed directly as farmers or in the processing farms, hence earning income. 3. It leads to improved transport infrastructure in the areas where horticulture is practiced. 4. It has led to stimulated reclamation of land. Lastly, horticulture has led to emergence of agricultural-based industries in Netherlands, therefore promoting industrialization. Comparison between horticulture in Kenya and Netherlands. So we'll start with the similarities, where in both countries greenhouse technology is applied. Similar vegetables and flowers are grown in both countries, and horticultural products are export market oriented in both countries. So those are the similarities. The differences: horticulture farming in Netherlands is highly skilled due to long history while in Kenya the farmers are less skilled due to short history that it has been practiced in Kenya. In Netherlands, where there is high local demand for horticultural products due to higher incomes of the locals or citizens, while in Kenya there is lower local demand for horticultural products due to lower incomes of many citizens. Netherlands is centrally located in Europe, thus has a wider foreign market within easy reach, while in Kenya, freight charges limit access to European market. Lastly, in the Netherlands, the scale of production is large, while in Kenya, the scale of production is small. So that is the comparison between horticulture in Kenya and Netherlands.